Jamaican women sprinting. Is this era now officially over?
It's cooked. I said this in like April, by the way. Sha'Carri's a lot better. Melissa's a lot better. Julien's a lot better. TT, better. Gabby Thomas, better. Mackenzie Long, better. Abby Steiner, better. You know, Brittany Brown, better. America's really, especially women's in the short sprints, are very, very dominant right now.
Like, we haven't seen an American win this in 20 years, like you mentioned, with Justin Gatlin. And then dating back, you know, even further, you know, there's been such a long line of great American sprinters that have never been able to call themselves an Olympic champion, but Noah does. And his primary focus is the 200. Think about that. Like, there's anyone in the entire world that could have had an excuse of why they're not running the mixed 4x4. It is Femme Cabol. The fact that she is going up against the greatest person in the history of her event the very next day, and she still finds it valuable for her to go through and do it, just shows that the United States doesn't care about this.
To me, it seems like a pride thing in the sense of, oh, I don't want to lose on the biggest stage. I know I'm not going to win. Let me just pull out the race instead of competing, you know? And that, it's just lame. If I'm being honest, it's just lame.
Welcome back to another episode of the Track World News Podcast. My name is Colin Waitsman. I am here with our esteemed co-host, Mr. Noah Williams. Noah, how you doing today, man?
What's going on, man? My heart's still booming, brother. How you doing over there, man?
I'm good. So we're recording this like 5 minutes after the Olympic 100 meters. You said it. It's hard to put it into words. That was an amazing, intense race competition. We're going to get into all of that and more. First, make sure to subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, join the podcast. It's been booming. Love that you guys have been enjoying it. Let's kick it off with 100. What are your thoughts? We got Noah Lyles, the Olympic 100 meter champion, fastest man in the world. Tell me about it. Even leading up to it, not before we even get into the race. Let's talk about some before we even get to the race. What's your thoughts, man?
So, you know, like you said, like in a lot of your circles, you're the only track guy from all of your friends stuff. So, you know, likewise, right? So going into the meet, supreme confidence that Noah was going to win. We both picked Noah to win gold. Like, you know, not too much to discuss. After that semifinal round with Oblique, looking at Noah and just like, Noah gave him the look back, but he looked a little shook to me. I don't know about you, but he looked a little shook to me. So from the time of the semis to the final, that like 3-hour window, bro, I'm just thinking of every possible scenario that could happen and like the likelihood of it. Noah silenced everything, bro. He silenced everything. The Twitter world, the haters, everybody, bro. And it's like, and it was in the most dramatic fashion. Like, it was in the most Noah Lyles ass way of all time, bro. Like, what you thinking right now, bro?
Yo, so yeah, let me get, like you said, let me go to before the race. Like, going into the Olympics, like I was feeling very confident. Like, yeah, Noah's gonna win. It shouldn't be too hard. Like, it should be something he walks away from. I didn't believe in Kishane Thompson as much as many other people did, especially Jamaican Twitter. And so going into it, I was like, this should be a cakewalk. Should be pretty good. And then round one happens, and he looks all right. He looks okay, but there, you know, I think Kenny Bednarik had the number one time in the coming out of the prelims with 977 or 997. Mm-hmm. And then in the semis, he loses to Oblique, and it looked like Oblique looked like he had another gear. He looked like he was cooling on that 100. I was like, so Oblique just ran a 980. Cooling and beats Noah Lyles, who also runs like a 981, 83. And he was pressing, it looked like to me. It looked like that was his top gear. I was like, this is Noah's top gear, and it's not looking good. I have all these texts from all of my non-track friends that were saying, what's happening with Noah? Why isn't he looking good? You know, this isn't the Noah that I know, even though they only know Noah for 3 races because they don't watch him too often. They're like, what's going on? I'm like, dude, you're right. It doesn't look good right now. Like, I was nervous, and I was like, crap. I was talking so much trash leading up to this. I'm about to get killed by Jamaican Twitter. I am going to get murdered by them. And he just locked in, man. Like that, the intro. Can we talk about that intro for a second? How intense that was?
Bro, I was like, well, the intro prior to them getting onto the track, or like while Noah was getting like running out
Both.
there.
We can do both.
It was a beautiful, like that felt like a Super Bowl type moment. Like the way, because now all of a sudden I feel like everybody stayed in the stadium and everybody watching at home, heart is just going. And then they announced Noah come out there. He out there jumping and shit. He usually do that. But I'm like, hey, bro, reserve a little bit of that energy, bro. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't, but nah, bro, that was so dramatic, bro. Like, so that was a Noah Lyles ass moment. And could you see him before the race? Like, he was talking, he was like, this is my moment. And then they panned to Oblique, like, he got in that boy head. Oblique, what he play? 7th? 8th?
Last, yeah, 8th, 991.
Yeah, Noah got in that boy head crazy.
Bro, that was the lead up to it. It was so tense. It was incredible. Like you mentioned, the light show. So for those that weren't watching this live, like they had go and watch that. If you're watching this podcast and you didn't see the men's 100 final, that's crazy. But it was incredible. Like they had a bunch of light shows going on and just music and everything. They're calling the athletes out one by one. You know, Kenny, Letsile, Jacobs. One thing I noticed, they gave Marcel Jacobs a different colored bib. It was purple. I'm guessing probably because he was the Olympic champion. So like I realized that at the end. And so they have everyone standing out there. And they had them just standing behind the blocks for like 2 minutes, bro. They were building up so much. You then actually saw Noah start going like, all right, like, let's pick this up. Like, it's time to race. Cause they were just standing there. Like, the amount of mind, like that's where the mind games that Noah has been playing for the last 4 years, that is where it is at its most like substantial, because everyone else is, you know, I'm locked into my own race, I want to do my own thing. And he's just been playing these mind games the whole time. He's sprinting out onto the track. He's saying, this is my moment. This music's been going for 2 minutes when you can easily stop getting locked in, or you could easily be cold. Then when they were in the set position, or not set, when they were down there for like a minute too. It just, everything was being held to the nth degree. And then the race. It was the build up to that. They couldn't have done. I don't think they could have done it better. The build up to the 100. I think it was absolutely perfect.
It was incredible, bro. I think it's been, let's say, 25 minutes to 20 minutes. Like, I still feel like juiced up a little bit, bro. They did that. I thought that the official was going to call him out, like, to stand up from the block, because that was the longest hold I've ever seen in my entire life. No question. That is the longest hold I've ever seen for runners to your mark. It was crazy.
That one official, because the official, I guess, was like looking at Kenny's hands. I'm guessing Kenny like might have had a finger too close to the line or something, and maybe was like trying to get him to adjust it. I thought someone was going to raise their hand and say, yo, I got to do something, like, because they were holding them there for probably like 20 seconds, which like doesn't sound like a lot, but like, bro, sitting down, like when they say runners to your mark, it should be runners to your mark and then, okay, set and then go. But they were having them stay there forever, man. And just built up the tension. It was nuts.
Yeah, that was incredible. And the finish of it all. Honestly, the way that the camera panned directly after the race, I thought Kishane won. It looked obviously from the camera angle, it looked like Noah could have won, especially with the momentum he carried through the line. But the camera directly went to Kishane. I was like, shit. And then boom, everything changed. It was crazy.
Yeah, I thought Kishane won too. Like, because from the angle, it's not just like a straight horizontal one, it's slightly to the right. So you're kind of getting, so if you're farther away, you know, it can look like you're crossing the line a little bit earlier. But it was, so I was like, oh crap, Kishane just won this. First, well, let me go over the results. Holy crap, I haven't even talked about that. 8th place, Oblique Seville, 991. 7th place, Kenny Bednarik, 988. 6th place, Letsile Tobogo with a 986. 5th place, Marcel Jacobs, 985. 4th place, Akani Simbine, 982. 3rd place, Fred Kerley, 981. 2nd place, Kishane Thompson, 979. And then 1st place, Noah Lyles with a 979, won by 5 thousandths of a second. But yeah, like you said, I thought that Kishane won as well, based on like the angles and the camera. Like when they were just panning right into him, I was like, "Holy crap, he won!" And it looked like for a second Noah kind of thought it as well. And he was like he saw Kishane, and he like patted him on the shoulders, and I was like, "Oh." Noah's like saying like congratulations in a way that looked like he came in second place. I was like, okay, so it's over, because if anyone knows, I would think he would know it better than us. And then they were like, Noah Lyles, winner, ripped the bib off, started walking off. I was like, oh God, that was crazy. Insane race, man.
Yeah, that was incredible. That's gonna go down in history as like one of the greatest 100-meter finals, I think, for sure. Obviously, it's not like the world record time or anything like that. We didn't expect it to be, but the drama and lead up and build up to that race and the actual race itself was instant classic, to say the
Yeah,
least.
that race was incredible. Yeah, like there's storylines for reasons why each person, you could have said could have won it, should have won it. And I bet you if you do this 100-meter race with this same field, if you line it up 10 times, I bet you get a different winner, 5 or 6 out of those times. Like there's so many people here that could have won, and the fact that he came out on top, like when it mattered, I mean, it was that was crazy. So it was good for him. And now, is this now officially a lock that Noah Lyles is winning 4 Olympic gold medals?
He'll win 3.
You don't think they won't put him in that the 4x4?
No,
You think he's going to get into the 4x1? He's going to have 3 gold medals, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to allow you to do this."
no, because we need to win this 4x400, and we can't play around. He's not going to be on the 4x4, but let's he has a great chance of winning this 200. He's going to be the favorite. A significant gap between him and the rest of the field, and then the 4x1 should be favored to win. So if he can secure this triple, legendary stuff. Let's not. I don't even want to go there with the 4x400 because, bro, we need to win a gold. It's not a fan thing. It's not a popularity thing now. We got to win a gold.
Yeah, I feel the amount of momentum that he's going to be having going into this 200, because the 200 starts tomorrow at, I think it's like 1:30, about 2:00 p.m. for the prelims. Luckily, like for him, he's not going to have to do too much to get into it. Like, getting out of the preliminary round, it's going to be something light. He'll be good. But I thought he was going to lose for 99 meters of this race. Like for 99 meters, he was behind. I mean, his reaction time, he reacted in 0.178. Fred Kerley had the best reaction. Fred Kerley almost got a time false start. He reacted in 0.108. Fastest reaction out there. So he was almost there at what they would have called back for a false start, but Kishane got out ahead of him by 0.002 of a second. So literally from the gun, Kishane Thompson was ahead of Noah, and for him to come back and win, I think there's no shot in hell he's losing this 200 meters that's coming up, I guess, in the final next Thursday.
Man, bro, this is special, bro. We witnessing something special. I think the public perception is really interesting right now surrounding Noah. Just going through my Twitter timeline and everything, and just seeing how America doesn't really support bro for a multitude of reasons that I don't need to go into because everybody knows. But like, just really, really interesting. I don't think we've had a sprinter in America reach this level of success. I mean, Gat won in 04 and then Carl Lewis and stuff, but like, this is special, bro. Like, an American did this, the 100-meter dash at the Olympic Championships. And it seems like we have a pretty split like country on who they were supporting, Noah or like the Jamaicans or Fred or whoever it was, So I think that's really, really interesting. But I think it's important for us to kind of just appreciate greatness, like we say for LeBron or like we say for Steph, like appreciate this moment because this is history. Like he just made history as an American man winning a 100-meter dash at the Olympic Championships. Like, it's absurd.
Yeah, there's a lot of haters out there and a lot of a lot of stuff. I've been called a hater once or twice in my day. I'm sure you have as well through this podcast and everything too. But the performance that you put on, like you said, extremely special. Like we haven't seen an American win this in 20 years, like you mentioned
Yeah.
with Justin Gatlin, and then dating back, even further. It's been there's been such a long line of great American sprinters that have never been able to call themselves an Olympic champion, but Noah does. And his primary focus is the 200. Think about that. Like there is someone, Tyson Gay, who has been one of the greatest American sprinters of all time, never is able to call himself an Olympic champion in the 100 meters, despite being one of the greatest Olympic sprinters of all time, or one of the greatest sprinters in American history. And Noah gets to say that. And he's on multiple times he said, yeah, this is kind of like my side thing. This is just like, this is what I'm doing on the side here. Like my 200s, what is real, where it's really at. And that just shows an immense level of talent that he's had. And like you said, I'm hoping that, we'll start to see a lot more of an appreciation. I'm sure that it's going to be a lot more difficult to get him on shows and everything now. I'm sure he's definitely going to be excited, doing some stuff, doing TV and everything. But it was that was special, man. Like that was an amazing race. I was up.
It
10 out
was,
of 10.
and obviously, to no surprise to you or I, we got the top three correct. We just flipped the second and third place finishes. Hey, all those folks that try to call us crazy, I don't know. We don't look too crazy right now.
Yeah, I got to go back in the comments. Just like you said, a lot of people calling me, clowning. Oh, y'all don't know track. I gotta get a hat that says I don't know track or
Yeah, that's
something.
great.
Like
I'm in on
that,
it.
we might start making those. Oh, y'all don't know anything about the 100. These people aren't gonna win. This isn't gonna happen. Yada yada yada. What happened now? Who's right now? All right, y'all can go somewhere with that. Go somewhere with that. So, like you said, I mean, I feel there's no way in hell he can lose this 200. Do we think that he'll set another American record? You think that he's in that form, or you think he's in form where he's gonna win, but it may not be something crazy?
I mean, he could. He's never ran this fast over 100 meters. He's never been a 9.7 guy. So now he's a 9.7 guy. He got the sauce. He got the heat right now, and that weight that was weighing on him for that 100, that's gone now. So I think he'll go into the 200 really clear headed. I think I'll be able to tell you after tomorrow if he's gonna break it or not, though.
Mm-hmm. Uh, One thing to get into with the 200s and everything like that. I saw we'll get into her in a moment, but Julien Alfred had an interview today where they were like, "How much sleep did you get in between yesterday and today after her winning the 100 and then going into the 200?" She said, "I slept for 2 hours." And then to go from like you slept for 2 hours and then doing like that has to be another like just emotional like battle or difficulty to go from you are the fastest person in the world to you have to race again. Like, no, you're not even done. Like with Julien Alfred, she's got the 200. They're not in the 4x1 or anything like that. With Noah, he's still got what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like he's got 4 more races that he has to do. Like he's not even remotely close to being finished. It's nuts how like quick you have to turn this thing over from you're being the champion to no, I got to lock back in like almost right away to do this again.
It's crazy, bro. So admirable too. And Julien I think she's going to be in medal contention there for that 200 as well.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, let's get into the 100 for the women. So 100 meters for the women. Julien Alfred bringing home the gold, first ever Olympic medal for St. Lucia, with the population of 188,000 people. She was able to bring home the first Olympic medal in gold, fastest woman in the world, in a time of 10.72. Sha'Carri Richardson with the silver, making her Olympic debut with the 1087. Melissa Jefferson, 1092 in third. Daryl Nita coming in fourth with the 1096. TT Terry, 1097, coming in fifth. Kambunji in sixth place with a 10.99. Tia Clayton 11.04, and then Maria Jose Tolu unfortunately pulled up with a little bit of an injury, rounding out the field. What were you thinking with the 100? That kind of got the weekend started off here on Saturday. What were your thoughts coming in?
Yeah, so I got the crystal ball. I kind of knew what was going on, but I did have Sha'Carri winning. I thought Sha'Carri was going to win. But if you watch that semi, was when everything changed. We saw Julien and Sha'Carri run head to head in the semi, and then Julien really like dominated the semi, the same way she dominated that final. And it's crazy because I think she's like 2 years younger than Sha'Carri too, like a year younger than Sha'Carri. So Julien, man, we might be looking at the next Shelly-Ann, like the next biggest thing here. But I didn't feel surprised watching this race. It was again another historic moment in time, but I didn't feel surprised at all. Like, all congrats to Julien, Sha'Carri, and Melissa for all topping that podium though. What were you thinking?
Yeah, first, congratulations to you. You got that podium right. Just flipped 1 and 2 around, but that was for a similar thing for what you said. I'm pulling for Sha'Carri. I think that's who I wanted to win. She's definitely one of my favorite runners. But the way that I've seen her racing throughout the Olympics, I'm not surprised that she didn't win, because she's had one of the worst starts in the Olympics. Like, they were looking at reaction times and going through the entire thing. She was last every time. Like, her reaction time. So Julian Alfred's reaction time was 0.144. Okay. Sha'Carri Richardson's was 0.221. The next closest person to her reaction time was TT Terry, who had a 0.163. So she was spotting Julian Alfred a 10th of a second head start. You can't give someone that has similar types of PRs. You can't give a 10.7 runner a 10th of a second head start. That means in order for Sha'Carri to have had to beat her, she would have had to run an equivalent of like a 10.5, for her to even come close to beating her, because she ran a 10.87 while spotting her a 10th of a second. So that's essentially like a 10.77. So even if she reacted the same as Julian Alfred, she still would have lost, which just goes to show how fast this Julian Alfred is. And like, she's so powerful. The amount of power she's putting into this track, I'm like, dang, how don't you have shin splints? You're just like putting so much power into this track. She's so strong. And it was another crazy race. Melissa Jefferson, someone that for me, I've definitely overlooked. I like Melissa Jefferson a lot, but I didn't think she had that championship pedigree for her to be able to do this. I was definitely counting her out. Partially, we didn't have Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce in here, which we'll get into that in a second. So I think that does play a part, but I was counting her out. I didn't think she was going to be able to be in this type of situation. Glad to see that. I'm glad to see that she is. I definitely have been a fan of watching her since she won her NCAA championship and did all of that. But it was another special race for these ladies too.
Yeah, it was incredible, bro. It was incredible. Yeah, you weren't as spot on about this one as I was, but I did also pick the podium on this one as well. And I got off Twitter for a little bit, right? And I wasn't on Twitter, but my homeboy called me yesterday, like, "Hey, bro, like, you see what's going on Twitter? Like, you got to ask for your apology." I was like, "What?" So I was like, let me re-download the app just to see. And I look at my mentions, and I see the video from last week was going crazy. Basically saying that I don't know nothing, and Shelly gonna do this, and Shelly gonna do that, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, facts are facts, okay? The top three was Julian Alfred, Sha'Carri Richardson, and Melissa Jefferson. Just as I predicted, but I'm a hater. But I called out a fact. So, hey, Instagram, INTL_Noah, X, Noah Williams 24. I accept all apologies. It's cool. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no beef, but hey, these withdrawals are looking a little funny, and I might have a theory on it. But is it anything to look into with these withdrawals? All of a sudden, I feel like it's abrupt and it's a lot going on.
Yeah, man. It was there've been a lot of people that are not racing right now. We had Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce who pulled out, Shericka Jackson who pulled out, Steven Gardiner who've pulled out. And it's not like these people have pulled out of these races like a week or 2 weeks, before. It's been right of even Kevin Mayer, the decathlete for France, he pulled out of the decathlon like literally right before. And so I'll hear your theory on it, but what I'm thinking it is like I think that they're trying their best to get ready and be able to perform, even though they know they probably can't do it, but they're going to stay in until the last second to see if, like, maybe by the grace of God, the second I like 1 second before I have to go out here, something will change. Like, hey, my hamstring is in pain, but maybe by the grace of God, something will change. I think an example of where maybe this happened is looking at Marcel Jacobs. Like, you saw him, he had a giant like wrap around his left leg. It was clear he was not healthy. And I'm thinking he was probably, he's someone who has pulled out of races in the past. But I bet you he probably was like, yo, I don't feel great, but it's the Olympics. Let me just try. Let me see what I can do. And I'm guessing that Shelly-Ann was on the other side of it. Gardner on the other side of it. Shericka Jackson on the other side of it, and it just didn't work out. But what's your theory on this though, man?
Yeah, so I hear it from my coach all the time. It's not the end of the world to pull out of a race. You're feeling something you don't necessarily want to push through. But at the Olympics, it's a completely different story. That's the biggest, that's what we do this for. Even if I do have a tweak or something of that nature, this is the Olympics. Like if I tear my hamstring in this 100-meter final, I tear my hamstring in this 100-meter final. It's the Olympics. I got 6 months to get ready for the next season. I think it's a lot of like tucking my tail. I don't want to get embarrassed on the biggest stage because I don't think I'm gonna win. I feel that way very heavily about Steven Gardiner. I don't think he was very confident that he was going to win. Mind you, I don't know what he's dealing with. I don't know what injury or what he could be dealing with. But the way I see it as a competitor at the Olympic Games, I'm feeling a tweet. I'm feeling something. I'm Marcel Jacobs. I'm gonna wrap this shit up. If I pull it, I pull it. But I'm about to go out here and compete. It's the Olympic Championships. I don't care if I won because he done won already in the past. Marcel did, but he still wrapped it up and got back out there. So to me, it seems like a pride thing in the sense of, oh, I don't want to lose on the biggest stage. I know I'm not going to win. Let me just pull out the race instead of competing, and that, it's just lame. If I'm being honest, it's just lame. So I want to see that even if you do pull your hamstring, like that's damn near more respectable in my opinion when it comes to the Olympic championships, the Olympic finals. If you're pulling out a race in May, okay, get healthy. But this is what you do it for. If you're not healthy, like I don't know. That's just my take on it. That's my view on it.
Yeah, you had I think back to being an Eagles fan where uh Carson Wentz was playing in the Super Bowl on a torn ACL. Like he literally tore his ACL and then got out there and then ran the ball into the end zone. For to help us get into progress in the playoffs. It's like that's the moments you play for. Like if there's a time to play hurt, you play hurt here. And now I'm wondering, like, will we see Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce and Shericka Jackson, the 4x1? And if we do, what is the thought? Because my thought is like, wait a minute, you're not healthy enough to run in the 100 meters, or you're not healthy enough to run the 200 meters 3 days ago, 4 days ago, but you're healthy enough to run the 4x1 a little while later. Hmm, that's interesting. Like, I mean, I'm not one to question the legendary status of these women. They've earned who they are for sure, but that would definitely be something weird to see. And so I'm guessing they're probably not going to be in the 4x1, because if you're that hurt that you can't compete in your open event, then you're definitely not going to be healthy enough to compete in your relay event that's happening a week later, I would say, because the level, like what type of doctor is going to be able to help you that much over the course of 7 days where you weren't able to compete in the one event that you would like, that you would actually do so. And then now you can do in one that doesn't matter as much. Like, I just don't see how that could possibly be happening. And if it is, I would definitely have some questions about it. So it was strange for me.
Yeah. Oh, so, okay. Do you know what nagging injuries either Shericka or Shelly are dealing with right now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce, it was a hamstring.
Okay.
Shericka, I think it's both hamstrings, but I know that Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce came out with a memo. Let me see if I can put it on because she put it on her Twitter or on her Instagram,
Yeah,
so I
I
can
saw that
read it
long
out.
message.
Yeah, let me read it out right here. This is what Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce said. So she said, "It is difficult for me to find the words to describe the depth of my disappointment. I know that my supporters share and shoulder this disappointment with me. I am truly blessed to have had steadfast support of my fans since my Olympic debut in 2008. The support of my fans, my country, and the larger community has rooted me in immense gratitude that has sustained me throughout my career. With every step and win, you have all been there for me. My faith has always affirmed my trust in my journey. Thank you for continuing to be with me today and every day." So in that one, she didn't say what it was, but it has been alleged, and people have heard that it was a hamstring type of injury that she had. So
Okay. That was a sweet post. That was very sweet.
mhm.
That was very sweet. Like genuinely. That was very sweet. I felt
Yeah,
it. Felt it in my heart.
yeah, and so I think she'll be done. Like that'll be tough, but then it sucks. Like going out, like you're going out in a terrible way. It's not like you're
Yeah,
going
go ahead,
out on
still
your
going
own terms.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going outside. You're not going out on your own terms. Like now, if it was, hey, you ran and you popped your hamstring and it didn't work out, like okay, like I mean, Usain Bolt, like his last race ever was what the 2017 World Championships. He tears his hamstring and loses, and because he was racing when he should have retired in 2016. He wanted to retire in 2016, but Puma made him race again, from what I've heard. So he had to continue, and for the contract. It sounds like Shelly-Ann, like she went through this race, and it was clear the entire year that she was never healthy, but it was just, hey, you're Shelly-Ann, you'll be able to figure it out, and it probably caught up to her, and I'm guessing it might be where she really could. Because I mean, in her prelim the day before, she looked fine. Like it's not like she looked that injured, but from boots on the ground, from people I'm hearing, she just not ran, but she walked right by like all of the media people at the end, like after her prelim thing, which she normally doesn't do, which makes me think, okay, maybe she knew something after that was not feeling right. But it's it's strange, like how many people have been coming out of these races this recently.
Did you hear about like the Sha'Carri and Shelly-Ann being denied entry? So I thought that was a little bit of an interesting bit too. So for those of you that don't know, Sha'Carri and Shelly-Ann had a hard time getting into the meet, like actually into the gate of the meet, because neither of them are staying in the Olympic Village, and they're only allowing athletes to transport on the team buses from the village to get into the Olympic Stadium. So they guess they had to walk like an extra, what, like an hour, something like that, just to be able to get into the. They had to walk. They're sprinters.
Mm.
It's obviously going to take a toll on their bodies, but they had to walk an extra hour just to be able to be submitted into the track meet. So that was a little bit of an interesting bit there. I think just another case of adversity. You kind of just got to overcome it. I mean, in case of Sha'Carri, maybe, but it's definitely something to take note of for sure. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, no, that was wild. Like imagine if LeBron James, his last NBA championship, they're like, yeah, we're not going to allow you into the arena. You have to, because you decided to, stay in a different hotel, or you were staying at home instead of that. You gotta go a different way. Be like, excuse me, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm right here. Like, I can see the gate is right there. You're gonna make me go all the way around, like, to be able to do this because I didn't want to stay in the place that everyone else was staying. Like, that's ridiculous. Like that's insane. And so yeah, because of that, so then Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce got to the warm-up area late. Same with Sha'Carri Richardson, got to the warm-up area late. And it seems like even without the warm-up, Sha'Carri was able to fight through it, and she went through and she ran, and it looked like that maybe that lack of warm up played a bigger part in why Shelly-Ann didn't run, because hey, I decided to, because she didn't stay in the Olympic Village. And oh yeah, to kind of give some more context on it. So apparently this rule has been a thing since the 1980s. Like they've had it as a rule for a long time, but they haven't enforced it until last night. Or until Saturday, because there's some athlete apparently that got like hit by a bus on Friday, like while they were going there, and so they're like, "Hey, look, we can't have these types of injuries. We have to, have athletes all going in on the same thing." And the line of communication wasn't strong enough, and it didn't get back to Shelly-Ann and Sha'Carri that this was the case, because 99% of athletes, I bet you these were the only two athletes, maybe Noah, that didn't stay in the Olympic. No, Noah did say he's in the Olympic Village. He is there. So these are probably the only two women that are not in the Olympic Village. Probably, maybe there's a few other for track and field, but probably mostly just them. And it didn't get back to them, and they got, stood at the altar, and that's got to be, it's got to be weird. It's got to be like super strange, for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, I want to stay real quick on the women's 100. Just Sha'Carri. So obviously we both had her winning. That didn't happen. The world had her winning, of just how much pressure there was. You think that this was Julien Alfred just straight up beat her? So do you think Julien Alfred won or Sha'Carri lost?
Both, if I can say both. Julien ran a great race. If Sha'Carri ran a great race, if she didn't spot her 10, she still could have very well lost. But out of all the races we've seen from Sha'Carri, that was it wasn't like one of the best ones. Like she really had to fight just to get that second place, First 30 was really just bad. Objectively speaking, that was bad. If you look at her in the rest of the field, what was she in, like 7th place, maybe through 30? So you can put yourself at a disadvantage like that at the New York Grand Prix. You could do that at, London Diamond League, but it's the Olympic final. You just can't afford to put yourself behind the 8 ball that heavily like she did. And we've seen it here and there from her throughout her career so far. So I think she knows, as we all know, that if she corrects that start, then she's a different beast. But Julien is the better 100-meter sprinter at the moment because of the consistency and being able to put together a complete race top to bottom.
Yeah. That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
I can't for a second.
Getting a little purple, little Paris track inspired.
That's what it was. That's what it was. So for Sha'Carri, I think that she performed better than a person should that is starting this poorly. Like for someone that is starting this bad, frankly, I wouldn't have been too surprised if she didn't make it out of the semis, because she was the worst of all of them. But it just showed how great of an athlete she was, that she was able to, like, even with all this adversity, she's still able to get second place. And so that was something that was really impressive to me. Do I think it was more pressure got to her, or do I think it's just, sometimes you have bad strings of races? I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I think that some of the pressure of everyone in the entire world has you pinned as you're going to be winning this race. You're the fastest woman in the world from the World Championships last year. Like, there's never been, or very rarely does it happen, that somebody wins the World Championships and then wins the Olympics the very next year, because it's so difficult to be able to do. People have your number and, want to go out and beat you. So yeah, I'm sure, for her legacy, your first Olympics, you're going to want to, come out with a gold. She still has the ability to do that in the 4x1, but coming out with a silver medal, not too bad, not too shabby. But I think the pressure got to her a little bit of just like, holy crap, the entire world is looking looking at me. And imagine that, like the people saying pressure getting to you is you finishing in second place in the Olympics. Like that is you underperforming is coming in second place. Like, you're an elite talent when an underperformance is the second best sprinter in the entire world. That's what I'm thinking for her.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. She's a special talent, man. Just like the rest of them girls in that field, bro. But Sha'Carri just got a little bit extra too.
Mm-hmm. You think? I wonder if we'll see any racing from any of these women after. Or you think it's going to be now we done?
I think definitely the Diamond League final. We'll see at least probably at least 4 of those girls that were in that Olympic final will probably run in the Diamond League final.
Okay.
Definitely Sha'Carri, definitely Melissa, definitely TT. Kambuji is how do you say her name? I don't want to be disrespectful.
Kimbunji, I think.
She's always running, bro. I feel like we're gonna see her like 4 more times by the end of the year. But yeah, these girls aren't done. Maybe Shelly, maybe not Shericka, but the rest of those girls that were in that 100 final, we'll probably see them again this year.
This reminds me. So this is for all I'm sure the Jamaican fans will love this part, but Jamaican women sprinting, is this era now officially over?
It's cooked. I said this in like April, by the way, but it's cooked. I mean, look at last year, right? 100, Sha'Carri took it. Shericka still had the 2. U.S. women won the 4x1. Okay. No person on the podium for the 100. It's looking slow for the 200. Maybe somebody will touch the podium in the 200. Did Lene Taylor-Thomas advance?
In the 200?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Let me see. I think so. Maybe it was like the last one. Semifinals. Oh, she might be in the referee rounds or whatever.
Because I know she advanced somehow, but I'm not sure to this.
Oh, I'm on the men's 200. No wonder none of those names look familiar. I was like, that sounds strange. But yeah. Women's 200. Which person did you say again?
Lene Taylor-Thomas.
Lene Taylor-Thomas.
TAVA.
Yeah, she qualified. Yeah, she auto qualified.
Okay. So is she the last Jamaican
there? Nisha Berger.
Okay.
Berger qualified with the big Q.
Okay.
And then that is it because Shericka Jackson pulled out. So
right. So I'm pretty comfortable and confident in saying that like the women's reign over the short sprints in Jamaica is over. You know, I think they have a good lineage of young athletes like an Alana Reed and Brianna Liston, and those younger girls have a lot of promise and a lot of potential. But you know, Sha'Carri's a lot better, Melissa's a lot better, Julien's a lot better, TT better, Gabby Thomas better, Mackenzie Long better, Abby Steiner better. You know, Brittany Brown better. America is really, especially women's in the short sprints, are very, very dominant right now. So, yeah, the Jamaican reign is over. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild to see it like kind of happening in real time. Like, yeah, it's done. Like, sure, they're legends in their own right, but like you mentioned, there's so many other people that I think are now ahead of them, and especially moving forward. Like, I don't see I mean, Tia Clayton for Jamaica, she ran pretty well. She was in that final, but that's you got one individual, and I'm sure they always have some really great athletes coming out of high school, so I'm sure that they'll have some people moving forward, but the Elaine Thompson, Shelly-Ann, Shericka Jacksons, like it's done for them. And it stinks that they all went out with an injury. Like the beginning of this year, like there were, okay, maybe you'll have one last try at it. We didn't get to see one of them in an actual final. The last time that we're going to see a Jamaican woman of those, like the 3-headed beast that have dominated track and field for the last decade, the last time we were able to see them in a final was 2023 when Sha'Carri Richardson was bringing home the world championship gold. That's the last time. And then they went out with injuries this year and didn't even get to make it to the line. They didn't even make it to. We got to see one preliminary 100 out of those 3 women this year. One, because of injuries. And so it's like, that it's tough. It's tough to stay on top in track and field for that long, and especially with the sprints.
It kind of feels reminiscent of that 2019 Warriors team, right? When KD goes down and Clay goes down and Draymond's getting thrown out and Steph's all choosed up and they lose. And the dynasty, I mean, they ended up winning again later on, but I don't see that in this situation. But just in 20, it's very similar. This big dynasty that's unstoppable are all derailed by injury. It's crazy to see it unfold that way, but that's athletics.
Look at it. I mean, Usain Bolt, his career ends in an injury.
Yeah.
Shelly-Ann Fraser Pryce, her career's ending in an injury. Elaine Thompson Hurrah, her career's ending in an injury. I mean, like, they haven't officially retired, but like your reign, I guess you could say, like what you're going to do is ending an injury, or like it's heavily impacted. Now, I think Shericka Jackson's going to be coming back. Like she's 30, I think, this year, so she has plenty of time. I think Elaine Thompson Hurrah might be able to push it to another world championships in 2025, but like this was supposed to be the last hurrah for at least Elaine, probably. Like, I don't know if I could see her in 2028 at the Olympics. Like, she would be 38 at the time. That would really be pushing it. But this greatness, it just shows it. Sprinting puts a big toll on your body, man. It's hard to stay on top. It's hard to stay on top. Then I got to get into this new thing that we have in the Olympics. I want to get your opinion on first. The repechage round. Don't know if I'm saying it right, but for those that don't know what it is after round one, you get your automatic qualifiers. So your top two finishers, your top three finishers, whatever it is. And this is for the 200 meters through the 1500 meters. So if you're not an automatic qualifier based on placement, there is no little Q. Qualifying on time doesn't exist. You then go to this other round called the repechage round, which is essentially you get one more shot to qualify, and then it's the top whatever. It might be the top three, or if it's the longer distance, it might be the top 4 or 5 that move on to the actual semifinals. So people that don't come in the top 2 or the top 3, depending on the event, have to run an entire another race that nobody else in your, like, if you came in first or second, they don't have to run. We do get more track out of it, and it makes it, more exciting for the fans, I suppose. But what have been your thoughts on this new kind of thing? Do you like the fact that, hey, it gives you another chance? Like, I saw Freddie Crittenden, he was injured, apparently, it looked like, and so he just jogged the prelim because he was like, hey, I got another chance at this. So I'm just going to go all out in that round. So we do have some situations like that, but what are your thoughts on this new
kind
of
Freddie is a perfect example for why, this could be a beneficial thing. I'm feeling something, I made it this far in my season. I know I can't do anything today, but if I could get an extra 48 hours, maybe something will change. The likelihood of that actually being a thing is like less than it is not, like less likely to happen than it would happen. But just as an athlete, to have the opportunity to at least try it, I think it's a pretty cool thing. Now, I don't want to see for the next, X amount of games. Now we're seeing like a bunch of people trying to do it, but I think it's a cool little spectacle in the sport for sure. I wasn't even aware of this rule. Did you know about this?
I didn't know about it until I started seeing it. And the reason I know about it is because I hate it. I do not like this at all. I'm partially biased because of it, but I hate it. So Allie Wilson, who went to school with her, high school teammates, she came in third place in her heat in the 800 meters, and so had to race in this round. She was the fastest time. She was faster than most of the qualifiers because her heat was the fastest heat in the first round of the 800. And then she runs this round, and she's the first woman out. So she didn't make it to the semifinals, even though she had one of the fastest races in the actual prelim round. And then we went through and checked of the people that have raced in these rounds already in the 1500 and the 800. 0 of the racers that have gone through the repechage round or whatever have qualified to the semifinals. 0 of them, not a single one. Why? Because you're racing a whole nother race that other people aren't having to do. You have an extra mile on your legs, an extra half mile on your legs, 400 meters on your leg. That's a lot, man. Like, and you don't get any days off. Like, imagine you going from where if you qualify in the top 2, you have a whole day that you don't have to do anything. And then you're going up against someone that had no rest days and had to run their ass off, in the 400 before. Like, you're gonna be cooked. Them legs are gonna be cooked, man. So like, I think we should go back to having the time qualifiers. Sure, I think there's some situations like Freddie where hey, it might be good for him, but I think it's just like cooking somebody. Like, if you don't win in the top 2, then there's zero chance I think that you're going to win, your race, because you're going to have like an extra mile on your legs if you're 1500 meter runner or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that perspective though, for sure.
Yeah, like, damn, like imagine for you get the 800, 400. How would your legs feel if you had to do an extra 400 all out the day before, and that the person on the inside of your lane, like, yeah, he don't have an extra 400 on his legs. That'd be like, that suck, bro.
Yeah, it's another mental game, man. It's another mental challenge for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we'll see how it turns out. I mean, talking about the 400, I mean, we saw the first, was it the prelim today that just happened? Yeah. What are your thoughts from the men's 400? We did get to see that first thing go by today.
Yeah, I saw a lot of great things. I mean, the U.S. men look fantastic, starting with Norman and moving down to Quincy, moving down to Chris. Like, all three of those guys looked great. They were basically floating through that first round. Matthew Hudson-Smith looked great. Jareem Richards looked great. Karani looked great. Like, a lot. That was smooth for all of the heavy hitters. Everybody that you would expect to make this final ran very, very well, outside of a Steven Gardiner, who just pulled out of the race. But I think it's going to take probably like a 43-7-ish to win. And I think that podium will stop at a 44-20. I don't see a bronze medalist going any slower than 44-1 here. So this is going to be a fire-ass final. It's leading up to be a fire final for sure in this 400.
Yeah, Norman looked good. He ran a season's best here with the 44-10, and he looked fairly good doing it. Quincy was coasting in this race, man. Like, it looked like he didn't have a care in the world. He had his grill in. It looked like
he was draws on too.
Yeah, bro. He was just, and then did you see they have I guess like a video board right at the end of that finish line for the 400, like where the 400 meter finish line was, and they have like videos of the athlete's family. So I'm guessing whoever wins, they have like a live stream. They had like a live stream. So Quincy Hall won his heat of the 400, and then he shows this video board, and it's all of like his family members like cheering him on. And you see him going crazy, like, yeah, like let's go. And I'm like, yo, that's sick, bro. Like, that's super cool. Like, to have like, you got that pump up there. But he looked good. Jareem Richards looked good, in this 400 here, and it should be really, really strong. What do you think is going to be the winning time right now?
I would say probably 43-68, right around there. Just a hair under 43-7. These guys are going to be fighting, man. These guys are going to be fighting for sure. I really can't. And honestly, I talked that shit about Norman last week, man. He might drop his nuts and let the world know, like, hey, man, I'm the guy in this 400 shit. So we'll see. We shall see. I'm other than the women's hurdles, this is one of the events that I'm really, really excited for.
Yeah, Norman looked good in that 44-10, and so it's like, hey, you're gonna be able to do it though at the time where it matters the most. Like, that is the question of, like, sure, anyone can run fast in a prelim, anyone can run fast in the semis. Like, are you going to do it in the final? Like,
right.
He looked great, and like, I'd still got him, as a person to look out for. But it's do it when it matters the most, man. Do it when it matters.
Where's Doom? Where's Mr. Doom?
Doom made it. Made it. It was just, the heat was just super slow.
Okay.
His heat, he qualified and he ran a 45:01. His heat, like, he had the third place. You could run if you ran 45:12 was the time to get in for that heat. There were people that were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 6 athletes that ran faster than 45:12 that are not in the semifinal, but because their heat was so dang slow, they're in there. So he got lucky with pulling really slow. Which could be very beneficial that he didn't have to exert as much energy to get into it. So we'll see how Mr. Doom does here, man. Dr. Doom, I guess we should call
Doctor
it.
Doom, MF Doom, Doctor
Mhm.
Doom, Finch Smirts. Like I'm gonna come up with some names for this man.
Yeah. Avengers Doomsday, I'm all of it, it's coming up, man. But with the 400, the 4x4. So the first news that we had towards the beginning of the week, Quincy Wilson was announced to not be on the mixed 4x4 relay pool. People thought, oh, he's injured. And then his coach came out and said, no, Quincy is not injured. They're just not selecting him on the 4x4, which for me, it says there's one of two things that this means. Either A, they're definitely using him for the regular 4x4, and they want him in the prelim because they're like, hey, we're not going to use you in the mixed 4x4. We're putting you in the prelim at least for the regular one. Or B, they're just super disrespectful to this kid of like, why would you put him on this Olympic team if you had no intentions of actually running him? Like, what would be your goal? Why would you want to have him on the Olympic team when, like, look at what he did in Florida at the American Track League event? Like, he ran even faster. It's not like he had a race where he didn't race anything and there was even more reason to pull him out of it. He literally ran another U18 world record there. Like, it doesn't get much better than that when it comes to your pull to get on the relay. So he's either definitely running that 4x4 or they're just going to disrespect the hell out of our man Quincy. So I don't, what do you think when you were seeing that?
When it came to the mixed relay, I didn't expect him to be on there from the jump. I've been kind of standing on that since it kind of broke. Because I know Bryce and Vernon have been the two legs for multiple world championships now, and I mean, interestingly enough, I don't think they've gotten a gold together, but they've done a great job every time, nonetheless. Like, every time that Vernon and Bryce get on that mix, they both take care of what they're supposed to take care of. So I think that it was just a safe bet. And then you go to day one and you break the world record. Obviously, it makes sense to run the same team the next day, even if you don't win. Like, you just broke the world record. Okay, yeah, we're gonna run that same team. Like, it makes sense, So for just the purpose of experience and having like a team chemistry kind of thing, it made sense for Bryce and Vernon to be on the mix. Now, for this prelim round here, 4x4 prelim round, I think Quincy should be on the relay. Throw him on third leg, let him, do his thing. It's just like, if I'm Team USA, obviously we are the ones that are supposed to be winning. We are supposed to win every relay. That's kind of the way that we feel. That's the way that we look at things. There's a lot of pressure on these coaches. So to put a 16-year-old, despite what he's done, like, I still think that's a hard decision to make when you have a Bryce Deadman. Like, okay, he beat Bryce at the head, but like, Bryce is still a U.S. champion just last year, still runs 44 every time he steps on the track, splits 44 low to 43 high every time, So if Quincy isn't on the relay, I won't look at it as disrespectful, because I still understand like the value of getting that experience of being in the village, being a member of Team USA, understanding you're supposed to be there, seeing the lights, and then the next time around, hopefully he makes the next time around, he can run. But I would like to see him run third leg on the prelim team, but if he doesn't, I don't necessarily want to just call it disrespectful. That's how I feel.
I see it, but like, I gotta disagree because like, what else? Like, we're talking about. So what it sounds like is, hey, we want consistency. Like, we've seen this from Deadman. We know what he can do. We know what we're getting out of those guys. At what point have we not seen consistency with Quincy Wilson? Now, I would understand that argument if it was, hey, he had one really good, like maybe he popped off in one race in high schools that qualified him to the trials, and then he just had a really good meet at the trials, and he just barely got on into the team, and he came in 8th place and got into the relay pool and just barely did all right. Like, if that was the case, fine, I understand that, I get it, but that wasn't it. Like, he's been running better every single time he steps on the track since March, since February. And so it's like, we've seen this consistency. You know what you're getting out of this kid. And it's like, I think that not having him on, like, for one of these types of relays would be ridiculous to me. It's like, we've seen this consistency. It's not like he's he's a different type of 16-year-old kid. He's not the one that is just doing this once or twice. Like, we've seen him do this consistently.
Yes, we have seen him do it consistently for one season. And like, I'm not trying to take anything away from this kid. Like, bro, he's the coldest under 18-year-old ever. No debating. He's the coldest one ever. But it's just like, if I'm a coach, like, okay, but do I trust him more than I trust XYZ? I think that's the question at hand. Like, it's a big move. I put this kid on here, he flames out. Now we look crazy for putting him on in the first place. So it's hard to win in the coach's shoes here in this situation.
I get it. But all right, I got some mixed 4x4 stuff that I wanted to talk about. So I went off on Twitter the other day, and I'm tired of losing these damn races that we should not lose.
Yeah.
Every single relay, USA should be dominating. We have the people, we have the talent, we have the ability. And the fact that we're losing and coming in second place in a 4x400 when we're going to have the best 400-meter runners in the entire world run here is ridiculous to me. It shouldn't happen. And the reason that it's happening are because we're not putting our best team in these relays and we're not taking it seriously. Now, I love a lot of the runners that are on these teams. Vernon Norwood, one of my favorite people in track and field. I think he's freaking hilarious. Dude's funny. Great guy. Shamir Little, I've loved her ever since she's been on Texas A&M and she had the bow in her hair. I'm a huge fan of her as well. And I think she ran a very good leg, and I think Vernon Norwood ran a very good leg. But I want to win. And the fact that we're not winning these things is insane to me. And I'm getting people like talking trash on Twitter, like, oh man, like those that are, shaming people that win silver medals, or that, like, I can't believe you're doing that, like blah, 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 or like, all this hate, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I say this about every sports team that I want to win. When my Eagles get knocked out of the playoffs because we throw three interceptions in a game, I'm talking trash on Jalen Hurts. Why? Because I want to win. I'm tired of freaking losing. And if you're not getting upset when you come in second place for a race that you should be winning, then that's a problem on your end as a fan or as an athlete. Like, I want to win, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be apologetic about it. And so it pisses me off, especially when we have the runners that can do it. And when other countries have the runners that can do it and do it all the time, it makes me even more upset. Oh, people are focused in on doing their own individual races. Femke Bol ran the 400 12 hours after this, and she split a 47 in this mixed 4x4. It matters enough to her, matters enough to the country. She could have easily said, no, I'm not running this. I have to go try and beat Sydney McLaughlin. If there's anyone in the entire world that could have had an excuse of why they're not running the mixed 4x4, it is Femke Bol. The fact that she is going up against the greatest person in the history of her event the very next day, and she still finds it valuable for her to go through and do it, just shows that the United States doesn't care about this. It's not a priority for us. And to me, that's annoying. I want it to be a priority. I want the best athletes to do it because I want to win freaking everything. And people that are like, oh, you shouldn't be, doing all this. No, kick rocks. Like, I want to win. If you don't want to win, that's a problem on your end. I do, and I'm tired of it happening. I love the athletes that are on there, but we have better ones, and I want those better ones to be on it so that we win. We should blow these people out the water, and we're not, and it pisses me off. That's my steps tool.
I mean, and it's not just Femke Bol. I mean, look at Amber Anning, the anchor there for Great Britain. She's running the Open 400 and the 4x400. And then Nielsen there, I think she was their second leg. She's running, I believe, either the 400 or the 4 hurdles as well as the 4x400. So, like,
Flavor is running it as well.
That's
for the Netherlands. Yeah.
So it's apparent that, these other countries are taking more seriously we have an abundance of riches. You know, we do. We really do. And that's kind of worked against us in this event since it's become a thing. Have we won a gold medal in this event since?
No, we've lost every
Every year?
single freaking time, and we get run down every single time. It's not like, oh, we're at the end. No, we're in the lead every single time, and then Fem Cabol runs us down every freaking year, and it's like, what the hell? It sucks. It's annoying. So no, we have not won this ever. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean,
No, we did. No, we did with Michael Cherry in 2019. It was Michael Cherry. This was the only year that because that was the
was
year
that
that
World
Allison
Relays though, or
Felix-
was that World Championships?
I think it was with Allison Felix when she ran on it, and it was the initial world record. Was that World Relays or was that the World Championships?
I'm not sure because it was like a big thing because that's when we were calling Cherry Relay Poppy. So like, I'm not 100% sure if it was the World Championships or World Relays, but I know they did win that event. But I'm not sure if that was like the
Yeah, I can check it up, but yeah. So that's like the last time we've won, I think, pretty much.
Yeah, so I mean, Olympic team got bronze. I think they got they take bronze in 22 in Oregon.
Mm-hmm. On our home turf.
Yeah, that one was. I remember the kickback on that one because it was Allison's last race. That one got ugly.
Yeah, and yeah, because I think Allison was second. Yeah, Kennedy Simons was getting.
She got a lot of flack, bro. She had the fastest split on our team, but she
got. Yeah, it wasn't her. It wasn't her fault.
Really, honestly, but like, yeah. But I remember that day.
Yeah, let's see. It says Michael Cherry, world champion twice. Yeah, one was from the Olympics because he was on that Olympic team. And then where's this other World Athletics changed like the interface for everything, and it's like I'm having trouble figuring out where all this stuff is. But yeah, I think let me see. 2019 was he on that 4x4 mixed 4x4? I don't know. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it. So yeah, I just want us to start winning stuff. That's my soapbox. And another like, we broke the world record. Like why are you upset that we ran the same team back even though we broke the world record? Yes, this event has been running. We've been running this event for 6 years. You're going to break, and we only run this event once a year, twice if you count the world relays. Of course, you're going to break the world record every year. Like when the 100 was first ran, people were breaking the world record multiple times, like every single freaking day, because you're just getting started. So of course the world record is going to get broke. So I don't think the argument of we broke the world record the day before, makes sense. Yeah. Do you think we'd break the world record if we had Sidney McLaughlin on the team? You're damn right we would have. Like, so I don't think just the argument we broke the world record is good enough, because then the Netherlands damn near went and broke the world record the very next day, just they missed it by 0.03. So I don't think that saying we broke the world record is a good enough argument as to why we should have ran this team, because we're not winning it. And it's annoying the freaking hell out of me, and I want to win. So
that's for you, bro. When I'm on it next year, we going to win, though. Actually, I don't know if they're going to put me on it because I'm gonna be on the top. I'm gonna finish top 3 at USA, so they probably won't let me run the mix.
Noah, let me say something directly straight to you. If you are the U.S. champion or top 3, I ain't gonna be out. It'll be a really hard episode if you're not on that mixed 4x4, because I'll say the same shit right to your face, man. If you're in that top 3 and they're like, I'm not doing the mixed 4x4, I got the 400. I'm gonna say, Noah, I was saying it. I was pissed off last year. I'm going to be pissed off this year. I don't care if we got to record a podcast the next day. I'm sorry, man. Your ass wasn't on it, and it pisses me off. So I'm just going to call it like it is. So when I'm upset with you because you're not running on that mixed 4x4 because I got the regular 400 and the 4x4 to worry about, I ain't changing up. I just want to make it very clear.
Respect.
All right. Any other stuff that you saw from the other races or just things from the Olympics so far that you want to highlight?
Shout out Favor Ophelia. They didn't put her in 100, but she popped her shit in that first round of 200. She ready to go. So as the week continues, man, and more of these races keep unfolding in these finals, man, I'm just looking forward to it, man.
That was crazy with this thing for Nigeria of how they just don't. Their just leadership is just missing things and just like not allowing athletes. Like That is crazy to me, that the reason you're not racing in an Olympic event is because your leadership isn't submitting paperwork on time. Like, the level of anger, I mean, luckily she's in the 200, so she's able to run, but like the level of anger that I would have is ridiculous if I was an Olympian and I didn't get to compete in the Olympics because some dude in a suit decided not to submit a paperwork on time. I would be livid. That was crazy. But another big shout out I want to give out to Jasmine Moore, triple jump, first American to medal in the triple jump. Got the bronze, gonna be jumping in the long jump coming up here. She's awesome. Super big fan of Jasmine Moore. Glad to see that she was able to get on the podium there. And then final shout out to just the people outside the track world showing love. You know, Shannon Sharp had Justin Gatlin on his podcast yesterday.
Yes,
He's given Noah Lyles $50K for winning the that 100. I'm sure that he might get another 50 for doing that, and the mixed 4x4 getting $50K for breaking world records. So it's just like I'm loving. Emmanuel Acho is at the Olympics right now, and that's something that is really cool. It's nice to see people in other sports. I'm sure on Monday, like ESPN and all the talk shows are going to be talking about this 100, especially with Noah Lyles in it. So I'm sure we're going to be getting a lot of that. So it's just great to see, love, coming out to the sport. And I know it's probably not going to happen, but I'm praying that some of these people stay along, watch some more stuff. Don't just be here for that 10-second race for Noah Lyles. Be here for World Championships next year. Be here for the rest of the Olympics. Be here for it all. Don't just be here for that 10 seconds. Be a fan for a life. Come on, man. So I'm hoping. We'll see.
I feel it, man. I heard the whole men's basketball team was at the track today.
They were?
For the 100-meter final, yeah.
I wonder how they were feeling, if they're like, damn, we were really hoping he didn't win so we could ask him about world champion or what.
Yeah,
probably mixed feelings. But yeah, like having that, like people show up to these things, man. People like to see who's the GOAT, who's the greatest people in the 100 meters. So excellent. We'll have to continue, see how the rest of our picks are looking. We got, so in between now and later, so we've got here's some finals that will be happening. So on Monday, or for the sprints, no sprint final on Monday. Then the final for the women's 200 is on Tuesday. So that'll be coming up. And then on Wednesday is the men's 400. Then we've got the men's 200 meter final on Thursday and the women's 400 meter hurdle final on Thursday. And then the men's 110 meter hurdle final on Wednesday. And then Friday or Thursday. And then Friday, we got a big one. We got both of the 4x1s, the 400 meter final, and then the men's 400 meter hurdle final on Friday as well. So got a lot of stuff to going down. And by the time we're chatting next, I mean, the Olympics are, it's going to be over pretty much. So it's crazy to think we've been waiting all this time, but thank you all for listening. Been another episode, Track World News Podcast. Got a lot of great stuff coming up for you all. Make sure to like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And that's going to be it. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.